It's Not Another Buffalo Podcast, hosted by three of the most underqualified sports personalities this side of the canal. With John.
There's no way in hell that I can leave that in, right?
You don't think so?
Well, to quote Rage Against the Machine, what better place than here? And, what better time than now?
And Brando.
We have this trust built on, whatever it is, like Bibles and gold bricks and whatever Brandon Bean's drinking over there.
Welcome back to Not Another Buffalo Podcast. I'm John. I'm here with my buddy Brando. Pat couldn't be here tonight. We're hoping we'll get him on next week. Sorry for all you specific Pat fans out there. If I listened to this podcast and I wasn't part of it, I'd be a Pat fan out there. But
yes.
Anyway, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Small City Realty, for sponsoring this episode and all of our shows. If you're looking to buy, sell, or manage property in Western New York, call our guy, Zach Korzelius, at 585-409-1088. That's 585-409-1088. Or contact him at Zachary at smallcityrealestate.com. And I'll have all his links in the show notes and his contact info if you're looking to buy, sell, or manage property in Western New York. Zach is the best, I promise you.
Yes.
But yeah, Brando, how you doing? Lots happened since we last talked. Josh Allen is MVP, which is hilarious. We didn't even know the NFL awards were taking place on Thursday until Thursday. I think we did our show on Wednesday. We're like,
I thought it was Saturday.
I know. I always thought they did it the night before the Super Bowl. Maybe they did that a couple of years ago. I can't remember. Or maybe it's always been Thursday and,
we haven't really had reasons to watch it.
Mandela effect. That's true.
Right.
That's true. Kind of a chaotic awards ceremony in general. Yeah. You can tell it's not Hollywood people running the show. The poor audio guy was having a tough time mixing the show. It did everything. Technical difficulties everywhere. Awkward stuff. I mean,
some of it was really stupid.
Yeah.
Some of it was really funny. Yeah. It was a very polarizing, for the right word. I don't know.
It was chaotic.
The funny stuff was funny. The bad stuff was really bad. So there was a lot of in between.
Yeah. Justin Jefferson, the teleprompter not working, which I was laughing along. He handled that a lot better than a lot of people would. Better than I would have. Did you see that part where the teleprompter stopped working?
No, I did not.
He got like halfway through announcing an award and it stopped. And he's like, it stopped working. Like, I don't know what to say. He's just sitting there laughing awkwardly and everyone else is kind of laughing with him because nobody knows what to do.
What's the prep like? How do you not know what is going to be on the teleprompter? Do they not give you a script beforehand? This is what you're going to read?
I feel like the rehearsal for the NFL awards is a lot like most wedding rehearsals where, like all the groomsmen are probably drinking already. They're not paying attention. They're like, we got this. We've been to a wedding before. I'm sure everything will go fine. And then inevitably something gets a little bit messed up, unless you got somebody really in charge. So maybe they need a little bridezilla running the NFL honors to tighten things up a little bit.
I would want to know what I'm supposed to be reading. We get these DraftKings reads. I read it first, like 7 times before it's my turn to read it on the air. So, just sometimes. In case I say them in my sleep, I can tell them, I can tell you what it is just in case. But, Justin Jefferson, maybe he's not as proactive, I guess.
Well, it's tough. I mean, how many times have I done the Small City Real Estate read here and I messed that up at the beginning of the show? And true. I probably cut it out so you didn't notice, but yeah, I messed it up the first time rocking here. It's a standing desk. It's not my fault. I'm not liable for anything that I say.
I have to say, man, in this award show, Josh and Haley, it's just like, it's like watching one of my students graduate, right? It's just like, oh, what a beautiful couple. Haley looks fantastic in that dress, I will say. And Josh just glowing. I don't know what else to say. It just is like giddy with happiness for those two to be up there. And his parents, I met his parents before. They're super nice. To see them in the front row, emotional. And Josh is just Josh. I think he's the same always. He's so cool, man, and so happy to be there. And I think I might have heard Jeremy and Joe talk about this too. This is not like a big win over a team. This is not like the Lions game where Allen puts the team on his back. It's not like a 6 touchdown game. It's not like the Cooper lateral, because you move on from that and you get ready for the next week. And the Rams game happens. Allen goes off and it's kind of forgotten about because you lose the game and you're on to the next one right away. But this MVP lives forever, right? This is the closest thing to a Super Bowl for anybody that we will have here since Thurman Thomas won it in 91. It's great. MVP lives forever on your resume. It lives forever in Canton, and it gives me a reason to want to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame now to kind of go see that. And it's super happy to see that for both of them. I'm going to keep rambling about this. I'm going to stop now, but it was cool.
You're good. You had a cat attacking you. No,
did you see her jump up here? She got excited. I was talking about Josh and Haley.
I know.
Yeah.
I love Josh. But I don't know. It got so heated and the debate continued to be heated on these debate shows. And I know that's what people want debate shows to be like, right? But I mean, I don't know. It just got especially nasty this year. And I don't know why it needed to be like that. I mean, you had two very qualified candidates for this award. Like anyone trying to take this away from Lamar Jackson, like they both could have been the MVP this year. Last year, it's kind of the opposite too, where, you know, maybe Josh had the stats, but his team didn't have the record and stuff like that. And this year, obviously their team records were only a game different, not drastically different. You know, it's a tough argument, but again, you know, the nature of the award, all these awards, it's like, there's not really a set list of criteria. Like the AP doesn't come out and like they could have one sentence that says, please base your vote on who was the most important to their team.
Yeah.
And was also like an awesome player, because there's no point in having the all pro vote and the MVP vote be the same exact thing. If they're given to the same people, then just make it the same award. There's no use for the most valuable player. Like we should just retire that and say awesomest player in the league or awesomest quarterback, because that's what it is. Again, if it was awesomest player at their position, Aaron Donald would have a couple MVPs. Saquon probably would have been the MVP this year. So it's like, I don't know. If we can't even agree on what the criteria is, or at least set it out, they've messed up in the past with this. Like DeMar Hamlin not winning comeback player of the year because people couldn't agree on a criteria. Just the epitome of that.
Did you hear what Dan Orlovsky said about why he voted for Allen for MVP, but not for first team All-Pro?
Remind me.
So I have it here. The Bills were the number 2 seed. Josh had a 40 touchdown, 8 turnover, 14 sack season. The Bills didn't have an elite defense. The Bills had a very good run game, not a great run game. They didn't have elite perimeter players in any regard. The way that Josh played this season and the different style that he played brought tremendous value to their football team. Lamar's season was sensational. He probably was the best player in football, but it's about the word value and how much you impact your team, who you had to do it with, and who you had to do it against. So he really took the value part of that word into its full effect, which was cool to see him do that as a talking head of the NFL, to say, yeah, Lamar might have had a better season. He had 9 Pro Bowlers and 6 All-Pros on his roster with him. The value came from Allen's efficiency with what he had around him and who he did it against. It's simple. That's not hard. It's not complicated. The value of Josh Allen exceeded the value of Lamar Jackson. If you flip-flop the two teams, maybe the Ravens go undefeated and Lamar Jackson wins MVP as the Bills quarterback. The value part is so important here with everything around Josh. Let's not forget, he's got a defensive head coach. So it's, he's starting behind the 8 ball to begin with. It's cool to see that. And I just think Derrick Henry nulls the whole argument for me. I think as soon as the Ravens get Derrick Henry close to 2,000 rushing yards, MVP is out of the picture for Lamar Jackson. He is not the most valuable player to his team if you have a running back that rushes for 2,000 yards. It's ridiculous to me. Great season, Lamar. Maybe the best season in the NFL, but you were not the most valuable player to your team.
Yeah, I think the other thing that clouded the argument is how much we overvalue volume stats when we have such more advanced analytics that you can look at, whether it's DVOA, whether it's EPA per play, which in a lot of categories like those advanced stats, the Bills ranked ahead of the Ravens, but not in volume stats, not in passing yards, not in touchdowns, passing touchdowns and stuff like that. I thought you could have made a case for both of them. I obviously am biased when I say I'd lean Allen, but I just thought the argument got out of hand. I mean, Dan Orlovsky was getting death threats and stuff like that. That's and crazy. Now he's saying that he's stepping back from ESPN. I don't know if those two things are related. His contract's up. Yeah. So they're probably unrelated, but I don't know. It's just the disrespect that went along with that too. I saw Ryan Clark was like laughing at him when he was announcing his departure on the show. I was like, come on, man, you can't do that. Like there's a couple people in the media that just grind my gears a little bit when it comes to that stuff. And sorry, RC's definitely one of them.
Yeah, it's frustrating to hear this. And I don't know why it's so heated about this. I mean, Lamar got 2 already. To have a third MVP puts you in an elite company no matter what. And just, it's okay to be first team All-Pro. That's okay. It's not a bad thing. MVP, we could do this all day long. Allen should have got it last year. But you look, just hear me out. The difference on snaps. I mean, I look at Burrow and Allen for this one because Burrow took maybe 300 more snaps than Allen did. It's like 3 games worth almost of snaps.
They were behind in all these games.
Yes. Well, look at Lamar's the same way, though. Almost 200 more snaps than Josh throughout the whole season. It's 2 full games. So what do you want to add? Do you want to add 400 passing yards, 5 more passing touchdowns and 4 more rushing touchdowns to his total if he plays the same amount of snaps that Lamar does. But we don't have to do that, which is nice.
Right.
The voters recognized that there's a reason Josh got up and he got out. He didn't have to play the whole game because he was most valuable to his team to build a lead that he can sit on the bench. So I digress. But I do have quick trivia for you, John. I just read this.
Sure.
I don't know if you'll get this. This is tricky unless you read it this week. Allen became just the 3rd player in NFL history to win MVP without making All-Pro first team. The other 2 were who?
I know one is John Elway.
Yeah.
That was the year that Joe Montana won it. What year's the other one from?
There's a tie.
There was a tie. Oh, this was a co-MVP year?
Yes.
Then I should know this. This wasn't in the 2000s, was it?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Co-MVP. You're going to have to give it to me. I don't remember
local
this one.
team.
Probably the Titans running back.
His last name
Eddie George.
His last name could be featured at a popular Golden Arches restaurant.
McDonald's. Okay.
Steve McNair.
Steve McNair. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was like, which McDonald? Okay. Yeah. I get it.
No, that was hard.
Steve McNair.
I wouldn't have gotten
R.I.P.
that one. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yes.
But
that was in 2003. He shared it with Peyton Manning.
Yeah. That documentary was actually not too bad. The one on Netflix about Steve McNair.
All the sports ones are great.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, where do you want to go next? I don't want to give too much talk about the Super Bowl, but it was
woo woo.
I don't know. It was a little nice.
Eagles fly.
Right.
Yes.
I'm
happy for them. They are super annoying. Now, I was talking to another teacher at my school, and he does not like the Eagles at all. But he was so funny because he said, as the game was going on, he's like, I was just so in for the Eagles, man. I was such a fanboy for this team. And he's like, as soon as they started talking afterwards, it's like, I just hated them instantly. Where Jalen Hurts is like, yeah, I deserve this. This is my thing. You know, I did this. They doubted me. I proved the doubters wrong. Like, it's like all about him. And then you got the guy, the defensive end, the guy, he had a bunch of sacks. Montez Sweat, maybe. Don't quote me, but I'm going to quote him. So he said, I should have won Super Bowl MVP, all the pressures and sacks that I got, but it's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Just like that's what he had to say after the game, was he was worried about not getting Super Bowl MVP. And it's just Saquon was the only one, man, that I can like on that team. I like them all for smoking Mahomes. So that was good.
That's the same energy as Cam. We were talking about him last week when he said, would you trade your MVP for a Super Bowl? If you asked Josh that question today, he would run and get his MVP and toss it over Niagara Falls just for a chance to be like, hey, I would have loved to play
just
in that
to play in the game.
Right.
You didn't have to guarantee him a win. He would just get rid of it to play in the game.
Yeah.
So. It's crazy to me. And I don't know if it's, basketball, you see it too. LeBron, this is for you. I did it, to Cleveland, which he did. Kyrie also did, but whatever.
Right.
But maybe it's hockey. It's such a team sport. They did a comparison of the moment that the captains get the cup in hockey in their interviews following versus NBA and NFL players. And I think Jonathan Taves, Chicago Blackhawks former captain. I don't like Chicago, but he was like, we worked so hard all year. We grinded through this. This team came together more than anything. And then the NBA cut's like, I brought this team on my back to the finals. I won this. I'm the MVP. I'm just like, oh my God, shut up.
I think it's just got to be about the size of those sports and how much it can feed the superstar egos. Because I don't know. And there's some people in this sport that would have large egos anyways, the Travis Kelces of the world or something like that. But, when you are put on a pedestal, you're the topic of the media all the time. Like, you're that person. Like, I get it. No, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying, like, I understand it. But I do think that that's not all of football, right? Like, we still have the Josh Allens of the world. We still have the team players of the world who definitely approach it with a team mentality. Deion Dawkins is not going to get up on the podium and say, this was my doing. I'm the one responsible. I should be Super Bowl MVP. But I don't know. So I like our guys.
I like our guys to treasure Josh Allen while we have him, but it just made me laugh because I'm rooting for these clowns, even though I'm not a fan, just to smoke Mahomes into the ground here. And part 2 of this, not for nothing, but the GOAT conversation is not going to be a conversation for quite some time now, I think, because you get blown out in 2 Super Bowls, man. Tom never got blown out in 2 Super Bowls. It took miracles to beat him. So
I don't know. I'm sure they won't look past the overall record. Like, a loss is a loss. Tom Brady put up 7 or 10 points in the Super Bowl against the Giants, that first one, something like that.
14. 17, 14 or something like
so
that.
Still,
but still,
different game, whatever.
Brady was so good, and I really, really wanted to see the Eagles get up 28-3 because I just like, there's no way he's coming back. The Chiefs are not prepared for this.
You don't even want to ask for that.
No, I was asking for it because like he's gonna fail. He was failing all day.
You're playing with fire there, buddy.
I like fire, man. I'm a pyromaniac. Let's go. Give me fire.
You're just asking for it.
No, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it now. I think, put Brady up there. Let's leave him up there. Patty.
Until next year. That conversation is dead.
Joe.
Until next year.
Go see Joe Montana's 4-0. You got to pass him first. But he might. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about the ratings. So we were talking about what the ratings looked like. I had seen stuff earlier in the morning on Monday that said that it had disappointed a little bit on the initial ratings, and all of a sudden, Fox comes out a day or two later, maybe even today, and was like, "Oh, this was the most watched Super Bowl ever by this much," and that felt fishy to me because I get it. Like the NFL knows there was going to be two forces in this, right? There was going to be the people who didn't watch, like us, Chiefs fatigue. I don't want to watch. This is what the NFL wanted. I'm not watching. And then there's the other group of people, which is the 18 to 24 female demographic of Swifties, which, by the way, is actually like a significant number of people that wouldn't normally watch the Super Bowl watching the Super Bowl. Yeah. So it makes a huge difference according to ratings and for advertisers and their target demographic of who they want to advertise to. So there's extra dollars coming in for advertising that wouldn't normally be there.
$8 million
because the Swifties are watching, that's substantial. So anyway, those two forces, I thought they were going to even out or do something close, but obviously Fox comes out and says, we had great ratings and all this stuff, and Nielsen comes back. But you found something interesting on this because Nielsen changed something about the way that they started counting.
Yes, they changed the rules when their backs were against the wall. So like you said, John, I read it averaged 110 million viewers throughout the game, which would have been down 10 million views from last year's average of about 120 million viewers. This article I'm reading is from NFL.com from the Associated Press, came out today, this afternoon at 3:30. It said the Super Bowl averaged a record 127 million U.S. viewers. The game was televised by Fox Deportes, Telemundo, and streamed on Tubi, as well as NFL Plus.
Tubi was also a new thing this year. So Tubi is a free streaming service that you could watch the game on, and that was brand new. So probably would have added some viewers who normally in the past few years might not have had a broadcast antenna because that's less and less popular these days.
So it was really only a 3% increase from last year, first of all. But the increase here, this is the little caveat, it was attributed to a change in the way the viewers are counted. This was the first year that the Nielsen company, that group, is measuring out-of-home viewers for all states in the United States except Hawaii and Alaska. Previously, it was only the top 44 media markets, which is 65% of the country. So they got a 35% buff on the numbers throughout the country. So we're talking about if you went to a bar and you watched it at a bar, they're guessing how many people watched it in that bar. And that's a huge estimate.
So 35% on out-of-home viewers, which already, I don't know, do you have the percentage of total viewers that makes up?
No, it does not have that.
They don't. Of course they don't have that, because then you'd be able to do the math on how many people probably really watched this game or how many additional people were counted in this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sounds like somebody doesn't want their advertisers too mad at them who coughed up the $8 million for a 30-second commercial or whatever it was.
Yep. I do have some interesting info there because you could kind of piece this together. According to Tubi, the first party and Adobe Analytics, 14.5 million watched on streaming platforms, which is 13.6 million of that happened on Tubi, where the game was available for free. Telemundo and Fox Deportes average 1.87 million viewers. So that doesn't equal 130 million.
Right. Did they only start counting the streaming this year too? I feel like they've counted streaming in the past.
I'm sure they have. It doesn't say on here if they did.
But Tubi is a new service that's free. It's not like you're only going to be able to count YouTube TV or whatever, Paramount Plus. I don't know if Paramount Plus was streaming it when it was on CBS or anything like that, but very interesting. So sounds like the Super Bowl. Sounds like the Super Bowl didn't exactly get the ratings that they are claiming to, or they did, and they just changed the counting system.
Let's just change the rules. The rules. That's fine. You want to play a fifth quarter and have it count, guys? Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I did. As soon as they said it was a record Super Bowl, I found that hard to believe because any blowout game in general, you're going to see that.
Yeah.
You're going to see that. So, and that's not just, I feel like that goes beyond the impact of just people hate watching the Chiefs. So anyway, do with that what you will, people out there. But Detective Brando on the scene.
It's fishy, man. I thought it was really fishy. I don't know. But whatever.
I'm not surprised. That seems like par for the course for a large corporation like the NFL. So.
I was not watching. I was playing PlayStation. I was getting updates on my phone, and I was sick all weekend. So when I went to go to bed, I saw that the Chiefs were down 24-0, and I was telling you earlier, right, that I wanted to see them go up, 27-3 or something like that. So I did turn it on, but I was out asleep before I saw play. Like I literally turned it on, and I woke up at 6 a.m. and I had to look everything up. I'm like, what, 40 to 22? It was like, what? So I didn't see anything. No, and my students are funny. It's like, oh, you watched the game? I was like, no, I didn't. I saw nothing. I saw Cooper DeJean's pick 6. Because while that was happening, me and Timmy, we were talking. They're like, well, Cooper DeJean, Super Bowl MVP, man. And I was like, he's got to have a pick 6 or something, or 2 and a sack and an interception to be nominated for it. And then my buddy Timmy's like, oh, he just got it. And I'm like, cool. So anyways.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have enjoyed it if I watched, but I stood on whatever stupid principles we were standing on and said, I'm not watching. No. We said we weren't going to watch. And those people in the comments said we were going to watch, and I wasn't going to let them be right.
Never. The trolls are always wrong.
Yeah.
No matter what.
That's true. So sorry, not to circle back to Josh Allen's MVP really quick, but just I forgot I wanted to add this. I have this video courtesy of Channel 7 here, Channel 7 ABC in Buffalo. I saw this. You saw this?
Yeah.
For those of you just listening in audio, this is Slick Rick from the mailroom. They finally found Slick Rick and got him to an interview. So I'm going to play the clip from that real quick.
Did you know you were going to get a shout out? And
no.
So you're just sitting there watching, or how?
Just watching, because like I said, when I left work Thursday, I said, if Josh doesn't get MVP, I'm going to cry. I said, I'm going to cry because he deserves it. I mean, he's that important to our team. So basically, when I was watching the awards, when he went on stage, everything, I was happy that he had won it, and it went from joyful to crying, because when he mentioned my name, I just broke down. I broke down because I'm just an average person. I mean, but when he mentioned my name, it was like, oh my God, he just mentioned my name on national television, So it was like, I was just crying. I was crying. Then I started getting phone calls from friends, and I was crying on the phone to them. It's still like a dream. Even though I work here, but I don't like this publicity. I'm just down to earth.
Man, I love Slick Rick.
This is the best thing I've seen all day. I guess I saw it, but I was in the gym and I was running on the elliptical, so I missed all of that audio. I saw him talking, but that gets your heart moving. That's sad in a happy way, right? That's cool.
Make him special teams coordinator. I know they just hired a new special teams coordinator, but give him some role on the staff.
He's doing a good job, whatever he's doing, man.
I know. Well, he better get a promotion out of the mailroom. That's what they say. If you want to work at a company, start in the mailroom. Yeah. Slick Rick deserves better than the mailroom, people. He's getting a shout out from Josh Allen.
Good job.
You got to bring that man up the ranks. So also I don't know. I love our guy, Josh. Like,
how can he not?
I just love Josh Allen so much. I never get upset about the you could have had Patrick Mahomes arguments. I've never been mad about that. I always like the way that it turned out. And I know the Super Bowls are different. I don't think that we'd have any more Super Bowls if it was Mahomes here versus Josh.
No, I don't think Mahomes would be as good here if we didn't take Josh. I'm with you. I'm pissed about it still, man. I'm
more upset about the Xavier Worthy thing.
That's water under the bridge for me. We gave the Chiefs, the guy that knocked us out of the playoffs 4 times. That's enough for me. Josh, man, I'll get his face tattooed on my chest. I love the guy so much. I'd do anything for him. I love him to death. I'm glad we have him. I don't want Mahomes, but we gave him to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's going to piss me off for my whole life. It is what
That's
it is.
your,
I'll carry that with me. But
not
it's
Doug
not
Marrone. Doug Whaley. Doug Whaley. That was a Doug Whaley move. So
actually, that's Sean
that
McDermott's move, because Sean McDermott was calling the shots at that draft. Doug Whaley was a figurehead at that point because they had not found the GM. So that was McDermott's draft that year.
Wow.
So, and they had not evaluated enough quarterbacks to take a quarterback that year, I guess, was the word on that. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm pissed about it, but it's fine. Yeah.
Oh, I ordered our Game Picks trophy yesterday. So I had to, sorry, Belmont's calling me asking for money again. Sorry, guys.
Wrong number.
You already took my money. You spent it already?
Yeah.
That's the John Mulaney sketch. I love that. But anyway, I ordered our Game Picks trophy yesterday. I realized I had to wait until the Super Bowl happened so we could finalize the picks. So I got one extra win out of it, which was nice because I picked the Eagles for that on the Game Picks. But anyway, so I ordered it, and it is officially going to be known as the Toronto Debate Academy Trophy. So shout out to our listener Rudy, who decided to sponsor the trophy and reached out to us. Sir. That's so cool. Like that's forever going to be the trophy for Game Picks. So I got all of our names, but it's a perpetual trophy now. I got little brass plates to put on it that are inscribed with our names, the year, our records, all that.
Did you put the previous years on there?
Yes, I put all the previous years on there. Yes. Don't worry, Brando. I wasn't just going to put mine from this year on there. Yeah, we had to start it somewhere. So yeah, that'll be fun. And again, cool. a big thank you to Rudy. That was so awesome. Also,
thank you, good sir.
The Toronto Debate Academy, if you want to check it out, they do online debate classes for grades 7 through 12. So if you have a child who wants to do online debate classes, check them out at torontodebateacademy.com. And again, Rudy didn't even ask for the shout out. I was just like, dude, if you're sponsoring our trophy, like what can we shout? What can we shout out for you on the podcast? So
hey, debate is awesome, first of all. Anybody that wants to do it, like sign up. Everybody should learn how to do that. What do you think we're doing on here? What do you think we're doing on here? But people don't know how to do this anymore in the correct way. I think
I don't think I do. I don't think I even do at this point.
Well, I think you do. I think you're very good at it.
I could have benefited from the Toronto Debate Academy as a kid.
But the young people in our society need this sort of thing, man. They got to learn from the right way, the right sort of people, have good role models to learn how to debate your point. You got to stand up for things you believe in a respectful manner and get your point across. So that's cool. Toronto Debate Academy trophy. I'm sorry that you don't get to come up here this year, but you'll come back home next year.
Hopefully, yeah. I was going to say, I was debating whether we should do a perpetual trophy or do like mini Lombardis every year and then just stack them up behind us. But I don't know. That seems a little extra.
I feel like keeping that trophy for a year is cool. So like,
it is.
When you lose it next year, it's going to be there. And then you can look at me with it.
Or when Pat gets it, because Pat has not won, of course. But it's not like Pat is far behind. So I was looking. Pat is finished in second 3 years running now. Yeah. So you and I have alternated first and third for the last 3 years. Pat has been a close second, including a year where he was one game back. So it has been a close margin. I think he's lost by one game, maybe 2 or 3 games another year. And then actually maybe 5 or 6. And then this past year, he was only down 2 games at the end there.
Back,
like could have been 1 game difference. I mean, that's one missed pick. He misses at least average 2 picks per year, I think, where he forgets to get his picks in on time. Yep. So if he doesn't shoot himself in the foot this next year, he might have a shot at
unforced erers, man. Kill every team possible.
That's funny. Well, I almost made a secondary trophy. If it wasn't so expensive to get a second one done, I was going to have a second place trophy for Pat that said Bills to win, not to cover on it. But
that's funny. I think we should go back to picking straight up instead of against the spreads, but we'll make it tough. We'll make it tough.
That's fine. Our records
it's too easy.
Our records were far too good when we were doing that, actually. But we had a really great year. Everyone finished above 500 this year against the spreads, so we're getting better at it.
It's cool. People get paid to do that. That's when you look at our body of work here.
It's pretty good.
It's positive. It's right? Good. It's positive.
Good, good strong finish to Brando's bets. So we'll have to bring that back next season for sure, and then keep it going consistently. Yes. So anyway, the only other thing that I got is I forgot to throw this in the MVP debate, but Sam Darnold's got an MVP vote. So if you think some of these analysts aren't off their rocker, they are. So I don't know. I'm not trying to delegitimize Josh Allen's win at all, but just know that there's somebody out there who thought Sam Darnold deserved an MVP vote. And it was a fourth place MVP vote. There's nobody who thought that Sam Darnold was the number one most valuable player, but someone thought he was the fourth.
That's interesting. I don't know.
But anyway, I'll leave that as food for thought. But
let's see. Baker Mayfield got 2 5th place votes. Sam Darnold got 3 5th place votes.
3 5th place votes. Okay, yeah. I was looking at it wrong.
Jamar Chase got 2 4th place votes and 2 5th place votes. What's a weird one here?
I feel like Sam Darnold's got to be the weirdest.
Saquon got 1 2nd place vote. That's interesting.
I think that's. I mean, again, it's tough because you're pushing Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson back. But
somebody voted Allen 3rd place.
Saquon deserved to be a 3rd place. I don't know. It's tough with the way that positions are valued and stuff like that. Obviously, quarterback being the prevalent one there. But
anyways, go Josh Allen.
We love it.
Do good, be good.
God bless.
Go Bills.
Yeah. I almost did a quick t-shirt design for that. And then I was like, I'm not going to. Like, there's going to be 7 available tomorrow morning, and 26 shirts is going to have one, and they're going to raise more money for charity than we ever could. So I was like, just buy those. Just go to them. Yeah, buy those. And if you like homage gear, check out our affiliate link in the show notes. Brandon's got his on right now. All right. Well, you guys know where to find us on all platforms at Not Buff Podcast. We'll be back next week. Hopefully Pat will join us. But as always, love that most people are continuing to watch or to listen to the show through the offseason. I'm surprised we haven't had the drop off this year that is normally associated with it. So we appreciate you guys. Last year was all figuring out the Buffalo Rumblings fallout, because after the Super Bowl, Buffalo Rumblings and SB Nation shut down, and we're like, we have to try to migrate an audience over to somewhere that they don't know.
The same time we got the Steph Diggs trade.
Right. That all happened at the same time. And SB Nation wouldn't even let us release a podcast saying where people could find us. So
I was 3 over through 14 holes, man. I was like 3 or 4 over. I was having a great round.
Yep. Just the world comes collapsing around you.
And we just talked about it on like hole 9. Steph Diggs is going to be back. He'll be fine.
Right.
And they look at me like, don't you like work for the team? And he just gets traded. You had no clue. I'm like, no, I didn't have a clue, obviously. Anyways.
I was on a plane for all this too. I didn't even get to see it till I landed. Yeah. Yes. So that was interesting. So,
what a time.
Fun stuff.
So you should come back on a 1-year deal. Tune in next week. We'll talk about it. No.
Yeah. It's going to be a no for me.
Yeah.
But
going to Dallas.
Probably a no from him as well. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, Dallas. That'd be a good landing spot. His brother's there.
Chad Hall.
Yep.
Ken Dorsey.
All right. Well, again, at Not Buff Podcast, thank you to our sponsor, Small City Realty, 585-409-1088. Zach Korzelius, if you're looking to buy, sell, or manage property in Western New York. We'll see you guys next week. Go Bills.
Do good, be good. God bless. Go Bills.
Yeah, we got to end every show with that.
So much to say.